I would like to take this time to publicly apologise to Dean Smith, the now former Aston Villa manager. Dean, I'm sorry I put you under so much pressure within this beta battle of FM22. I'm sorry that Aston Villa in the end saw fit to relieve you of your duties. But that is, after all, the cutthroat business of Football Manager here on YouTube. Anyway, still got 2 games to play. Let's go on and finish this beta battle. So here we are, final episode of the FM22 beta battle at Aston Villa with me, the United City FM. Welcome along. In theory, I kind of won it, I think. Dean Smith got sacked over the weekend and I haven't been, and we've made it through the end of the season. So in theory, I think I kind of won it, but I'll be nice and I'll say, from now, it's about me versus Aston Villa. Whoever they put in charge next, they will still come to the end of their domestic season sometime next May. They'll still have got a total of points in the league. They'll still have had runs in cup competitions, etc. So I will be good. Dean, I apologise. Aston Villa, bring it on. Let's see what you've got in terms of replacing your manager and figuring out how to beat me. Because we all know, after all, that that's all of that dismissal was about. It was trying to beat me in the beta battle. So we've got 2 games left to play today. We're going to finish it off today. Both Arsenal and Man City. Really very, very hard run-in we've had. And Man City and Arsenal are sitting in 3rd and 4th position. So they're going to be very tricky. If we go and have a look at the fixtures, you'll see that the most recent fixtures that we've had have been really awful. Right the way since back early February, we've hardly won a match. It's been a very, very hard run-in. We've had the likes of Tottenham, Liverpool, Man United, then we had Leicester, then Chelsea, then Everton, Arsenal, Man City finishing it off. It was some really tricky fixtures. Before that, actually, before the turn of the new year, we were looking fairly decent, to be honest, up in the top 3 or 4, looking as though we were going to get those one of those Champions League spots for a while. And then it kind of just went off the boil. And since then, we've been hunting for form, really. But as I say, only 2 games left. We're going to play them both today. So let's get on with this. So for a little while now, I've been hunting for a way to play that's going to get me some better results. It's been a really tricky run-in. I haven't had a lot of good form. We've tried a couple of different setups. I can't even remember whether we've already tried this one, if I'm totally honest. But this one is playing the wide centre-back role, the new role on FM22. And we talked a bit about, at the beginning of the beta, looking at some of the new bits and pieces in Football Manager. I think we've done that here and there. But not overly exhausting them. And the wide centre-back role is one of those new things. And Mings and Concert are going to both play it today in a back 3. The reason I'm changing to this formation is it's been working a little bit on my Borussia Dortmund save just recently. I've been playing a few games off the streams just to get ready to finish off the beta battle that I've got going on over there with Borussia Dortmund, basically on twitch.tv/the United City FM. Every weekday afternoon, 3 till 5 p.m. Come and find us over there. But so I've been playing it a little bit there. But also, over this last weekend just gone, I was involved in a draft competition. Cy Maggio puts on a community draft every Sunday evening. And I played in that yesterday evening. And this is the formation I played. And it got me through to the semi-finals of the draft. So I was pretty happy with that performance. So this is why we're going to be playing this particular setup today, just because we've got 2 games left. It's against big opponents we're not expected to win, so we might as well give it a go. So all of that being said, it's the lap that moves out of the side to accommodate that. What we're actually going to have to do is put I think we will put Tuanzebe on the bench instead of Ollie Watkins, and move Delap down into that striking position as I see it on my bench, so I know where everyone is. And although Tuanzebe's a little bit under fitness, he can sit on the bench and cover that defensive role potentially if we need him to. Other than that, everybody else is fit and healthy and raring to go. We're playing a custom vertical tiki-taka, so there's a few things I've gone in there and just shifted around a little bit to help us with the players that we've got. But basically, we're looking for these two wing backs to follow in behind the wide centre backs, to follow in behind the wing backs as they go up the pitch. These two wide centre backs should come in and sit in these sorts of positions with a defensive setup on them. They won't go too far, but they'll just support the play a little bit and come and join these two in midfield as we move up the pitch. Just watch out for that in the highlights if we can get it. The rest of it is self-explanatory. The wing backs will go and try and get to the byline. These two inverted wingers will cut in and work in and around the top of the box and try and feed Ings. We've got McGinn coming up and down the pitch on a box-to-box midfield role, and Douglas Luiz should be hunting the ball in and around this midfield area whenever it comes into him. Courtney Hawes, sitting in the centre of our three-man back line, will literally do that. He will stay there and provide some support. That's the plan. We'll see whether it works, whether we get beaten or we don't. It's been a pretty good season. That first half was brilliant. Second half, not so much. But I think we've done okay. So, for the first of our two games against Arsenal in the Premier League, we're going to go with Martinez in goal, Konsa, Hoz and Mings in central defence, Cash on right wing back, Target at left wing back. We've got McGinn and Luiz in central midfield. On the right, we've got Buendia. On the left, we've got Bailey. And up top, we've got Danny Ings. And we've got a 9-man bench all ready and raring to get involved should they be needed. So let's get into the first of today's games and see what happens. So in terms of team talk, I've been very chilled out. There's no point in putting the pressure on, so I've had my hands in my pockets. I've suggested to them that we are really low in the form guide and we need to up that to try and match Arsenal today. But ultimately, it's just about getting this new system on the pitch and giving it a go and seeing where we're at. I mean, we're at home, but we're at home to a very, very good team, and one that I fully expect to cause us a lot of problems. They are pushing and trying to claw their way into those European Champions League spots and staying there. So they've got a lot to play for. So they're going to be difficult, but let's see how we get on. It's going to take us more than 2 games to get used to a new tactical style and setup. So whether we're expecting much today or not, we'll find out. But anyway, Arsenal on the ball in the early stages, playing about at the top of the penalty box, switching it from left to right. The ball goes back in. They still maintain possession. The shape is pretty good. You can see it's only Danny Ings that's pretty much been left up top. And eventually they work their way through to a goal. 4 minutes on the clock. Whatever system we played, with the form that we're currently in, this is kind of what I expected, if I'm totally honest. I kind of expect to be beaten in both of these matches. It doesn't mean I'm not going to try to change that, obviously. But we are in a very, very poor run of form. So a highlight straight off kickoff though, so that's a positive maybe for us if we can keep possession of the football. Hawes coming out of defence, finds Target down the left-hand side, gets a chance to work his way to the byline, pulls short a little bit and then drifts inside with the ball. A really good attempt by Douglas Luiz, and he eventually gets a corner kick. The goalkeeper has to parry that long shot over the top of the bar. Buendia into the near post, and it's Mings under the ball, and he can't quite find a way to get his header on target. Again, it goes over the top. At least we had a couple of attempts. At least we're showing that we can actually be competitive in this match. Now it's all about concentration and doing that consistently and working hard defensively to win the ball back and be able to counter-attack when possible. So we'll see whether we're able to do it. There's a good chance. Cash nicks in, finds a way to win the ball, and we go on a counter-attack. Ings was dropped in to get involved in the play. Bailey takes over, switches in the ball into the box. That's a fantastic header at the back post by John McGinn. And it's a lovely bit of work. Ings gets involved in the middle of the pitch. He switches the play out wide left to Bailey, who does then cut out even further left and then hooks a long cross right the way across the penalty box. And at the top of the 6-yard box on the far side, McGinn heads it back across the goalkeeper into the net, and we go back to 1-1. Fantastic. Really good response. Couple of really good attempts before that. And then finally, a breakthrough came, and we are still in this game and causing Arsenal one or two little bits and pieces of problems. Again, a clearance there finds Bailey, but the booted clearance, unfortunately, in the end goes straight to an Arsenal player and they can rebuild. Got to be a little bit more subtle when coming back out of defence, it feels like. Bukayo Saka is causing us problems, isn't he? For whatever reason, he had a header in the first goal. He's now poked the ball home from the top of the 6-yard box. Odegaard does all of the good work here, crosses it in. We at one point looked like we were going to get that cleared. It fell very kindly to Saka, and he had a simple tap in from very close range. And Arsenal go back to 2-1. The stats of the match are fairly even. We've had similar shots at goal and on target. We've got a little bit more possession, which is good. But the XG rating is a little bit below what Arsenal have got as well. And you can see that we are just a little bit below, behind what they're producing just at the moment. If we can see this through to half-time with a one goal deficit, that's not too bad. Oh, but there's a chance maybe here at the death on the free kick just at the top of the penalty box for Buendia to change that. And he really does. That is phenomenal. It was right on the line of the penalty box, so we almost got a penalty. It was a difficult free kick to get up and over the wall and then back down again into the goal. But he did it perfectly. And Buendia is still demonstrating that he's a superstar for us. He's one of my favourite FM players, to be honest. I really rate him very highly. I've used him in lots of different setups now through draft competitions and the like. I really like what he brings to us down that right-hand side. And it was one of the reasons why I wanted to come to Villa, because I thought I could find a setup that would work with him and the likes of Bailey on the left. It's struggled, to be honest, but there are glimpses of it. And we finished the first half very strongly. And, you know, we are absolutely being very competitive, which is good. So we can tell them that in the halftime team talk. We can go in fairly happy about that. But let's pump the fist. We've been the better team. Just keep doing what you're doing. You'll be fine. Whether we've been the better team or not isn't as important as just building up some morale at that point, really, and getting them to continue to perform well. So we're going to go in and demand more from them at the start of this second half, see if we can keep pushing them forward. But so far, at least we've shown that we can absolutely cause them some harm, which is really positive stuff in terms of being able to get down the other end of the pitch, get a few attempts at goal, and on occasions, if we get it right, put the ball in the back of the net. We're building up from the back really well. There's Mings getting out and supporting the players, the wide centre-back. Doesn't do it fantastically well at that point, unfortunately, but there is a good demonstration of the fact that they will venture forward. Unfortunately, excuse me, it led to a counter-attack. Mings just made an error further up the pitch and we were countered on by Arsenal down the right-hand side. Again, Saka getting involved, but this time he turns provider for a cross into the 6-yard box for Aubameyang to get his head on the ball and put it past Martinez for a 3-2 lead to Arsenal. Again, it's an Arsenal highlight, the start of a highlight. They had a goal kick or a free kick in the goal area. I couldn't remember which one it was. Now, Aubameyang has got the ball down this left-hand side. We're a little bit passive in just closing them down a little bit. I'm going to go and change that in just a second, but I suspect we might be down even further before that. We're not. Martinez just about covers the goal and manages to get the ball over the top of the bar for a corner kick. Corner comes in deep and it goes straight down the sights of Martinez, fortunately for us. We're going to pause it there. I'm not going to make any personnel changes, but I do want to go and make that change. So what we're going to do is that when we're out of possession, we're going to get stuck in a little bit more, and we're going to go and push that a little bit more, and we're going to up the trigger of the press, so it's much more often that we do it. And we're just going to move the line of engagement up a little bit. Just see whether that works for us, because it felt a little bit passive, if I'm honest, in terms of just pushing at them and poking and prodding to see if we can win that ball back. So only 5 minutes into this second half, they've obviously picked up their third goal. They're coming back at us down this left-hand side again. Tierney and Saka getting involved in the play. We do get it cleared, but again, we lose out. It's the one issue that we've got potentially in this current system, that those long balls are not the way that we're supposed to be doing this at all. and it really comes back to bite us. We went too long, and Ings did not win the ball, and there was no support around him at that point, and that gave lots of freedom to Arsenal to counter-attack, and they do it lethally. And whereas we were competing in the first half, in this second half, we've been done in a little bit. They've changed themselves up just a tad. They've restructured their style of play a little bit, and it's causing us problems. So we are going to have to do something about it. So what we're going to do is we're going to try and take the possession away from them as much as we can. So we're going to switch it into the tiki-taka rather than the vertical tiki-taka. Just slow the play down, much lower tempo, much shorter passing, be more disciplined, dribble less, work it into the box. Let's just see if that works for us in just taking away the momentum of the game just slightly for the next 10, 15 minutes or so before we make a few personnel changes. I mean, we've competed in that first half, as I say, very well. In this second half, they are running away from us just a bit. So it was necessary to try and do something. Let's see if it can work in any way, shape or form. Of course, Arsenal is still going to be difficult, whatever we do. And as I said, I was expecting it to be a very difficult match. But that first half just gave us a little glimmer of hope. And sometimes it's the hope that kills you, isn't it, really? This second half hasn't been the same way. And they're working patiently to get through us again. And they've switched the play over to this left-hand side. Aubameyang on the ball, drops it back. He's got support. And then McGinn lunges in on the challenge outside the area, I think. But even so, it was a really quite poor challenge. He'll be lucky to get away without a card here, I would suggest. He has done. He's got away with that. But it is a free kick on the edge of the box. They put it in and we get it partially cleared. But again, their ability to pick up those loose balls in and around the midfield area is very strong. Buendia heads it forward eventually. Ings drops in to get involved in the play. Does well to shield the ball, but then the highlight goes, unfortunately, and we don't see what comes next. What we do return to is a left-sided throw-in for Arsenal, quite deep in their own half, but they've worked it pretty well. And then Konza steps in and takes the ball back from them. Martinez again, though, going. That is not a tiki-taka, is it? It's really not. Even from the goalkeeper, he should have held on to that, drawn them onto him, and found a shorter pass out of defence. And they're going to do us in again, potentially, because of it. We get away with that one. It's decision-making processes are not particularly strong in this Villa side at times. We're going to pause it there just after the 70-minute mark and make a couple of personnel changes, get some fresh legs in. And we've got some really poor ratings, unfortunately. 6.3 for Cash, 6.4 for Target. So they're not playing particularly well in those left and right wing-back roles. We've got Courtney Hawes in central defence, 6.2. We've got 6.2 for Danny Ings. Danny Ings has been the biggest surprise to me. He's got 10 goals in 26 matches, which isn't terrible. But if you look at his attributes, 18 finishing, 17 composure, determination of 18, off the ball is 16, he's got work rate, the physicals are a little bit low, but this guy should be getting more goals than he did for me. And he's the real disappointment from my point of view this time round so far, unfortunately. Anyway, what we're going to do to change it, we are going to have to make a couple of changes. So we're going to change Matty Cash out and put Aguilar on. We're going to put Ashley Young on for Target. So both of those left and right wing backs have changed. And we can either take Courtney Hawes out in the centre of defence and change the shape, or we can take Danny Ings out and put Delap up top instead. I think we're probably going to lose this game anyway at this point. Although we'll give it a go, I think we'll keep the shape and keep working with it and try and get it better for the Man City match. So we're going to put Liam Delap on instead of Danny Ings up top and leave the rest as it is to play out. Just and hope that we can get a slight improvement in how we're playing it for the next game, which is going to be equally as difficult, if not more so, isn't it, really? Man City currently sitting on about even points, I think, with Arsenal, and absolutely trying to challenge them for the higher league position, really. So both of these teams were always going to be tricky. Arsenal have proved that. With 10 minutes to go, they've got a couple-goal lead. Can we see this game out? I think we've done okay. You know, we in that first half, we were magnificent. In the second half, they've pulled away from us. They've doubled our shots on at goal. They've doubled our shots on target. They've got a higher XG rating. We had a little bit more possession, but we didn't do enough with it. And here comes the final whistle, unfortunately, for the match. It was a decent match. We tried. It was our last home game of the season, I believe. And it ended in a 4-2 defeat. Yeah, I kind of expected it. So here we are for the final league game of the season, the final game of this particular series, the end of our beta battle at Aston Villa. We have dropped down to 7th. We are only 1 point clear ahead of Chelsea. If we lose to Man City today, you'd expect that Chelsea are going to overtake us, unfortunately. We might end up in 8th. I still think that's a reasonable performance from this Aston Villa squad, who I don't think are particularly fantastic across the board, to be honest. But we'll see how we go. But before we get into that last game of the season against Manchester City, just a couple of things. If you've enjoyed the beta battle and you want to see some more FM22 content, it's coming your way very soon on the official game launch, which happens tomorrow. So if you're enjoying my content, subscribe to the channel and come and join my United City community. Go and check all the links in the description below for Twitter and Discord and all sorts of other bits and pieces down there. Maybe click a like button on this particular episode for me. That's going to help me get more viewers in, get me higher up in the algorithms of YouTube. Not easy for me to say, for goodness sake. Get your teeth in, Kev. But yeah, thank you for your support so far through the beta. I hope that we're going to get a real good launch off when the official game comes about tomorrow. What are we going to be doing come the official launch? Well, we're going back to do this again. So there we go, rolling in the aisle, set to return for FM22. It's going to be my annual save from this point onwards on Football Manager. We might do the occasional holiday rolling in the Isles where we go somewhere else, possibly, but mostly it's going to focus on the British Isles. So I hope we're going to have a lot of fun with it. It was really good fun last time we did it. So that's coming back soon. But for now, we finish off this particular season. For this last match in this particular season and this particular series with Aston Villa, we have unfortunately picked up a couple of issues. We've got Leon Bailey, who's away on international duty. Don't know why that's okay to do at this point in the season, but he is, and he probably wouldn't play anyway. Look at that fitness. So we're going to have to take him out. So Trezeguet will play instead, and we will put Al Ghazi on the sub bench instead. Liam Delap is ineligible because it's his parent club, so we're going to put Ollie Watkins on the bench. We've got both Aguilar and Ramsey on the bench that are a little bit under fitness, which is unfortunate, but the rest of it is fairly okay. So we're going to leave it as it is, but a couple of changes I didn't really want to have to make there, but there we go. So for one final time, remember, we're coming back in May to put out an update video as to exactly how Villa did in their season, and we'll see whether that whether I compete and compare favourably to that as that progresses. But until then, this is my last opportunity to get some points on the board against a very tricky Man City side. So let's go do this. Final game of the season. We're going in with Martinez in goal, Konza, Hors and Mings in central defence, Cash at right wing back, Target at left wing back, McGinn and Louise in central midfield. On the right, we've got Buendia. On the left, we've got Trezeguet. Up top, we've got Ings. And we've got a 9-man bench all ready and raring to go should they be needed. So for one final time, let's get into the last match of this particular series and see what happens. So I've been quite open and honest with the players, really. I've suggested to them with an outstretched arms posture that people expect us to lose here. So go out and make them eat their words, prove them wrong. The pressure is not on us today, really. It's on Man City, whether that's true or not. it kind of doesn't really matter. It's about building the morale. I think it is mostly true, but what I would say, there's still that pressure of Chelsea chasing us down in the Premier League. I want to stay in that European spot if I possibly can. I think that's going to be tricky, but we'll see what happens in this game. Away from home, one last time against Man City, a very good Man City. It's going to be very hard work, but we've proved at times this season that we can compete with some of these bigger sides, just not consistently enough. What we discovered over the season is that Villa have got a very good starting 11. They haven't got a particularly great squad, and it would take 2 or 3 seasons to properly build them up into a proper contender, you would imagine, just by taking away some of that deadwood in the squad and replacing it with much, much better players. But there we go. That's not going to be our job. That's for somebody else to do at this point. Target with a long throw off that left-hand side. That is fantastic. Again, just like against Arsenal, we do cause them problems. And on this occasion, it was a long throw into that top of the 6-yard box and Ings underneath it. The lesser spotted Ings at times this season. He has been a big problem in not scoring enough goals. But on this occasion, he rises above everybody else, heads the ball at the goal. The goalkeeper doesn't move, and we go 1 up after 20 minutes, basically, which is fantastic. Can we find the momentum from that and keep moving forward? That's the question. We are competing very nicely. We're a little bit low on possession, but you'd expect that against Man City. It's about what you do with it. Buendia with a corner kick in. I thought for a second at that near post we had a chance of getting a second. We don't. And Man City have countered brilliantly well. That is a big problem for us. De Bruyne almost put the cap on his brilliant bit of work that he did to get them down the pitch in the first place. Couldn't quite do it, hit the post, and in the end we get a block and the ball goes out for a corner kick. De Bruyne with the corner kick, and it's headed partially clear, but Grealish is going to pick it up for them. Obviously Grealish coming back to his old stomping ground here at Villa. He is a big miss for Villa. I thought their summer recruitment was pretty decent, all things considered, but he's such a huge miss for them. And De Bruyne again causes problems for the goalkeeper, who has to parry the ball out for another corner kick. They're piling on the pressure at this point at the half-hour mark. Again, it's De Bruyne on the far side with a corner. He's going to put it into the near post. We again get it clear, but again, only to a Man City player. We'd have to restructure, I think, how we're clearing those balls at times. But Buendia picks that one up, and then the highlight goes, unfortunately. But coming up to the end of this first half, if we could find a way to keep this at 1-0 to half-time, that's got to be a fantastic first half. But Man City are dangerous. They could always come back and cause us a problem at any given second. Time is ticking through, though. We've got a couple of minutes to play through to half-time. And you can see that they've had more shots at goal than us. In terms of the statistics for the match, they are in control of it in a lot of different ways. But we have our goal and they currently don't. So let's get into this dressing room. We can go over the top with this one and tell them how fantastic they all are, I think, really. We'll go in, we'll open the arms up, outstretched arms. I'm very happy with the passing so far. It's been good. Let's have more of the same in the second half. Keep them focused on dominating the possession of the game and actually our dynamism when we do get it. How are we using it? Where are we putting it? Are we being consistent with it? Let's go into the shouts. We're going to fire them up for this second half. Keep them focused. Keep them moving forward. You can see that Man City are losing us now in terms of chances created a little bit. They've had over double the chances now. And we're going to struggle to keep them out in this second half if that remains the case. We did put them under enough pressure there for them to have to go backwards, but they have retained possession and they are building up again from the back. Stones with too much space to walk into, and he puts a brilliant ball through. Jesus doesn't quite work it out, but yeah, there was too much space for John Stones to work in there. Nobody really closing him down. 57 minutes on the clock, so time is ticking through on this particular last game of the season against Man City. We are going to have to think about how we want to see this one out, potentially. We're not going to change much just at the moment. We're going to leave this running for as much as we can. Zinchenko is having a really poor game for Man City, but there's a couple of sevens that are just showing themselves in their team, so they are beginning to work harder, it feels like. 73 minutes. I'm going to play for as long as I dare with this particular setup, but it might just bite me in the bum here. Yeah, oh, they should have. It went across the 6-yard box. There was a tap in for somebody, but they miss it. And what did Mings do? Oh, he's given away a penalty. I knew something had gone wrong in the middle there for them. It was too easy for them to miss it, and it was Tyrone Mings giving away a penalty at the 75th minute. Gundogan steps up, and he puts it away. We were doing so well. I was being brave enough to hold our shape, hold our players to account for as long as I could, and then Mings kind of goes and messes that up for me just a little bit, unfortunately, by giving away a silly penalty. Now, we've got a lot of very tired players. Obviously, we're quite late in the game, so we are going to have to change some here. So what are we going to do? We're going to take Trezeguet out. We'll put El Ghazi in. We're going to have to leave Buendia in just to finish off the game. We've got McGinn. We'll take him out, put Ferguson in, and we've got Target we'll take out and put Ashley Young in. That gets rid of quite a lot of our tired players. There's only one in there, Louise, that's going to have to kind of just suck it up really and get on with the rest of the game. But now what do we do? I'm going to stay in the shape that we're in because I think it's working for us reasonably so. It's only a penalty kick that's given Man City the opportunity to get back in this game. But look at some of these average ratings. They're not great, are they? Matty Cash on a 6.1, for example, is lucky to stay on. It's only his fitness that's kept him in on that one. So what are we going to do instead? Well, we're going to change this up slightly. We're going to go down the wings. Because we've got those two left wing and right wing backs, we've got those left and right wingers as well, and we're being supported by the wide centre backs going into those wide areas. I feel like if we push it out wide a bit more often and support from there, maybe that's where we can get some joy. So we'll just switch it into that for the last few minutes, and we'll up ourselves to attacking. It's going to do us in, probably. It will give Man City plenty of opportunities. But at this point, I kind of don't really mind so much. We've got 15 minutes left of the season. I think it's been reasonable. We're giving Man City a good game. Can we just find a way to be brave and nick something at the end? Or are we going to have a bit of a sucker punch ourselves? Let's find out. The time is ticking really quickly. Only 5 minutes remaining. And there haven't really been too many shots at goal, let alone highlights, since we made those changes. Are we going to play out a 1-1 draw here? Oh, it's a Man City free kick straight down the sights from too long a distance to the goalkeeper, unfortunately, for them. And this gives us one opportunity, potentially, if the clearance is good. And it's not quite, is it? It goes into an area where they win the ball back and they come charging down his right-hand side. Mahrez on the ball, right at the byline, drags it back, gets it back again, cross goes in. That is a really unfortunate way to end the season. I called it. I suggested this is going to go, one or two ways. We're either going to get something for being brave, or we're going to lose something for being brave. And it looks like, unfortunately, that's helped us. Goal disallowed. So in theory, we've kind of been helped out here just a little bit. And there was a little bit of an offside there for Mahrez in the build-up. That's lucky a little bit. It was quite a close call, but it might just help us to hold on to this draw. We've got 1 minute left of the season. Can we hold out and get a valuable point? We do. That's not bad, is it, really? I think we were quite unlucky not to come away with more in just the sense that it took that penalty kick to get them back in the game. But we played pretty well. Douglas Luiz was a mountain of a man in midfield. Ings on the score sheet again, so he gets a boost to his rating. Everybody else, little bit below par, let's say, but against a very, very tricky side. And that's it, 1-1. But what does that mean for our league position? So unfortunately, what it means is that we drop down into 8th position in the Premier League. On the last day of the season, we dropped out of Europe. Chelsea jumped over us. We finished equal on points with Tottenham Hotspur, and they take that last European spot because of goal difference. Oh, that's really a shame, isn't it, really? If we go and check out what we did this season, though, we're pretty much identical to Tottenham, really. 38 games played, 17 wins both, 7 draws both, 14 losses both. They got 59 goals, we got 57. They let in 52, we let in 53. A 3-goal swing was all it took to get Tottenham into that last European spot and to knock us out of it. That's not a bad season with the squad that we've got. And if we were to continue on, actually, that's a really positive thing to see if we can just move on from there and continue to cause a few problems for those teams above us. But West Ham doing the job to get in that top 6, Tottenham finishing in 7th at the end of it, Man United winning the title, and my Aston Villa side finish in 8th position in the Premier League. If we go to the competition page, we'll also see that we didn't do very well in the cup competitions. We got knocked out in the quarterfinals of the League Cup, the Carabao Cup, to Man United. That's not terrible. What is kind of terrible is that we got knocked out in our first opportunity to play an FA Cup game against Bournemouth in the 3rd round of the FA Cup, and that's not great. If Villa can do better in their real season in this competition, I don't know where they're at with the League Cup, to be honest, and maybe there's an opportunity for a new manager to come and boost them up. Remember, we had a really very, very poor second half of this season. If they're having their poor half of the season now and they go on this sort of run that we had at the beginning, then it could get a little bit closer than maybe some of us think it might do in terms of this beta battle. But that's basically going to do it for me. The job is done. I've enjoyed Villa to a point. It's been challenging. I've enjoyed FM22 to a point. There's some balancing they need to do for the official launch in certain aspects of the match engine and other bits and pieces. But the general improvements they've made and the additions that they've made to the game this year, I think make a difference and help us to feel more engaged with what's going on around us. So thumbs up to SI for that. I think it's been brilliant. I've enjoyed the beta. We're going to go into the official launch for Rolling in the Isles soon. Don't forget to go and check all of my links in the description below and come and join my United City community. The more the merrier. Click a like button on this particular episode. That will help me get seen by more people. Until next time, until the official launch of the game happens, take care of yourselves. I'll see you very soon. Bye for now.